Get ready to absorb Mr. Wayne Salmans.
All right, are you having a good day? Yes? All right, we are going to, I love what Kelly said a couple years ago. She goes, when you see the end of a marathon, do you slow down? Heck no, when you see the end, you speed up, right? So we're going to end strong. Thank you for being with us. Let's dive into this. So let's end strong as we're going through this day. So I think that one of the things we've gone through today is your perception, the reality of the experience. And our common theme today really has been a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. Crisis is a terrible thing to waste. And isn't it funny the conversations we're having? Like if you just walked in this room and you heard like best pandemic yet, and you walked out, you feel like that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen, right? Or like crisis is awesome, right? Here's what I love, that we've been able to look at this, and I love what the author, what's his name, Keith Cunningham talked about in The Road Less Stupid, right? The size of the opportunity is equal or greater than the size of the crisis, and I believe that's true. Agreed? Here's a great question to ask yourself as we're looking at this, moving forward. What, if you had known that the crisis was coming, what would you have invested in? Right? What would you have done? Right? We talked a little earlier, right? We would have bought Zoom stock. Who knew plexiglass was going to be all the rage? You know what I mean? I never thought I'd see so much plexiglass my entire life. Right? All of these things. And yet, here's my question for you. It's not over. Like several people said this morning, they built their wealth in 2007 and 8, yes? What I found really interesting about 2007 and 8 is I talked to a lot of people, because I was kind of coming into real estate in that time, and there were so many people that threw in the towel in 2007, and here's why. There was a lot of mega agents that threw the towel in 2007 8 because they weren't willing to go back and do what they had originally done to get where they are. Right? Brian, you and I were talking about it a couple weeks ago, right? They weren't willing to go back and knock doors. They weren't willing to go back and call their database. They weren't willing to go do some of the things that got them there in the first place, so they threw in the towel. And I'll tell you what, there's going to be a lot of people like that in the next year that will just kind of throw in the towel, and there are going to be some opportunities that come available that's like, here's what, think about this. I had someone say, I've been waiting 10 years for this opportunity. Right? I've been waiting 10 years for everybody to stop marketing and advertising so that I could get my foot in the door. Right? I've been waiting 10 years for people to slack them and stop paying attention to their database so I can get in there and build a share, right? So I think you got to change how we're looking at this and go, look, this could be one of the greatest opportunities this decade. What are you going to do with it? So as we move forward, I want you to think about what should you invest in? What should you prepare for the next 6 months? I'll tell you what, there's going to be opportunities in real estate. How many of you, if you're here local, how many of you would agree? Right? How you know what drives me nuts is when people go, oh my goodness, I wish I would have been ready for it. It's like, well, let's get ready for it now. Right? The best time to get ready, right? What's that Chinese proverb? Who knows? Maybe John Maxwell said it. I just attribute every great quote to John Maxwell now. The best time to plant a tree, 20 years ago? Second best time is right now. I don't want you to psych yourself out that the moment has passed. Does that make sense? There's massive opportunity coming, and the question is, will you prepare yourself? It's no different than talking to a buyer. Some of you are talking to buyers, and you go, look, it's changed. You can't buy a house right now. And they get really disappointed, and you go, I totally get that, yet here's what we need to do so you don't miss it again. There's a lot of people that missed 2008, right? They missed, right, the early part of the pandemic, and they're going to keep missing because they don't prepare, right? The biggest tragedy will be wasting this time. So I think right now there's 3 opportunities, basically 3 decisions you need to make between now and the end of the year. I cannot believe I've talked with a jacket for so long. Enough's enough. I can't do it anymore. Are you going to lead or are you going to follow? In the next 6 months, you have the decision, next year, you have the decision, are you going to lead or are you going to follow? Most people will follow, agreed? Most people will follow the advice that they've been following for the last couple of decades. Most people would take advice from other people that are failing. Isn't that weird how we do that sometimes? Huh? Are you going to lead or are you going to follow? There's one of my clients, and I think there's so many parallels right now. I have one client that's in Louisiana, and she called me at the beginning of this, and she goes, hey, we own a yoga studio. We're shut down. We can't do anything, right? We talked about some options. I'll tell you what, she leaned into doing virtual yoga. All of a sudden, they got moms with their kids on there. All of a sudden, instead of just having clients in their states, they got clients all over the freaking country. They got clients all over the world at this point. They tripled the size of their business while the yoga office right next to me, right in my office in McKinney, shut down. Exact same business, right? Here's the thing. Opportunity doesn't care who you are. Opportunity doesn't care who you are. Opportunity cares who takes action, right? Equal opportunity, unequal reward, correct? So what do you need to lean into, right? Are you going to follow somebody else or are you going to follow you? Or are you going to lead you? Okay, here's the second one. I think right now, there's two realities. There's the reality that's getting shoved down our throat. Is there a reality getting shoved down our throat in this country? Right? The reality that's getting shoved down our throat is everything is terrible. We all hate each other, and it's only going to get worse. Agreed? Right? And there's 7 gazillion memes to back it up. Right? The reality is being shoved down our throats. Agreed? And here's what I want you to think about. Do this with you, actually. Let's just have some fun with this. All right, I want you to look around. If you're here in the audience, if you're at home watching this thing, I want you to look around and see how many things you can find that are red. Look around. I'll give you 10 seconds. Look around. See how many things you can find that are red. Look. How many can you find? Keep going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay, here in the audience, how many did you find? 5? 6? 22? Oh, gee. All right. Wow. All right. So, Miss Overachiever in the front row, we had like 5, 5, 6, 3, whatever, and then 22. All right. So here's what I want to say about that. I bet if you found 22, I bet you found some things that were, and you're like, red. Right, yeah, exactly, yeah. That's not, I love you, that's not red, okay? Like, it's close, you know what I'm saying? Right? But here's what I get by that. You find what you look for, yes? Right? Right? You're like, something's like maroon, and you're like, red, I'm going to win, right? Right? You're like, it could be red, right? We find what we want to find, yes? Right? Yeah, you're like, 23, 24, I'll do whatever it takes to win this thing, right? Right? Here's what I mean. You're going to find what you look for, and it's never been more important than in the next several months, agreed? I'll tell you, everyone that I know that watches the news every single day and all that kind of stuff, right? Every single one of those people is more depressed and more anxious and more pissed off. Without exception, yes? Right? Because when you pour that in, that becomes your reality. You start finding stuff that's red that's not even red. Right? Somebody accidentally cut somebody off in traffic. You're like, see, everybody hates everybody. What? We start drawing these really wild conclusions, correct? On the opposite side of that, if you look for opportunity, you start finding it where you didn't even see it before. Yes? When you look for talented people and you go, look, I know there's amazing people out there, you start finding them. You're going to find what you look for. And let me say it this way. Your focus, or Anthony and I talked about this last week, the currency of today is attention. If someone can get your attention, they get paid. Yes? If Facebook can get your attention, they get paid. Yes? Right? Conversely, if this company can get your attention, they get paid, right? When somebody gets your attention on YouTube, they get paid. Your attention is the currency of today, and we're giving it away. When we give our attention away, they get paid. Right? When we choose to pay attention to the right stuff like this, and what we learn, what we read, we get paid. Are you with me? We got to be way more serious about what we're giving our attention to, right? Because and it's going to continue to create your reality. Don't let their reality become your reality. It might be true for them. There are people that are having the worst year ever for their business. Yes? Right? And by the way, it's the same business as somebody having the best year ever for their business. It might be the same business, right? Their reality doesn't have to be mine. I can talk to somebody and they go, man, I'm having a terrible, and in my mind I go, man, that sucks for you. That's not my reality. I'm going to choose mine, right? So you got three choices, right? Your first choice is, are you going to lead or are you going to follow? Your second choice is what reality are you going to choose? What are you going to look for? Because I guarantee you're going to find it, right? The third thing is, right, your focus. I remember John and I were talking about this last night. I said, man, I need a story for create your own reality. And he's like, dude, you're the story. What are you talking about? I was like, what do you mean? He goes, think back to when we launched Hero Nation, right, several years ago. When we launched Hero Nation, I remember I met with one of my mentors at the time. And he goes, dude, you're not going to make it. You got friends on Facebook. That's not a database. You're not going to make it, dude. I was like, awesome. Worst mentor meeting ever, right? Right? Everybody said, dude, there's a lot of coaches out there. What are you doing? Right? Everybody shuts down. My former company had a nice little game they played. They like to send me cease and desist letters all the time to just freak me out. That was fun. We could have chosen the reality, this is impossible. Why would I do this? Right? Or chosen the reality that, hey, we need this. People need this. We got to do this. Right? Makes a big difference. Here's what I want you to think about. The last one is I want you to choose your focus. And what I mean by that is I want you to magnify your focus, right? When you get a magnifying glass out, right? What happens when you put a magnifying, have you ever done this as kids? Chuck and I probably did it, right? You're like trying to fry the worm with a magnifying glass. Was that just me? There's probably a therapist out there. Okay, ants, yeah, it was probably ants, right? Right? We get the magnifying glass out, we'd be shining everything, trying to start a fire, right? Right? Because what was that happen? We would take all that energy and magnify it down. I want you to, like Nick Good would say, I want you to delete your distractions and magnify your focus. Hone in. Every single person up here today said that they won by going narrow. Didn't you hear almost every single person say that, right? Nobody up here said, hey, we started doing 100 new, exciting, awesome, shiny objects, right? They won because they go, all right, who are we? Let's narrow it down to 2 or 3 things, and let's be the best in the world at those 2 or 3, yes? Your focus is so valuable, and you're giving it away, and they're getting paid, right? Stop. Choose to magnify your focus. Delete the distractions, multiply your results. Hone in your focus, and that's going to be the win. Make sense? How many people this year have won because they leaned in and they got really, really focused? A lot. Right? One of my buddies, Hank, hopefully he's not watching right now, because I just hate to brag on him when he watches. It's weird. Right? No, but he chose 2 years ago to really hone in on his new brokerage, right? And I'll tell you what, he's leaned in wicked hard to the point where I was uncomfortable how hardcore he was focused, right? And guess what? He's winning huge right now, right? Because he stopped trying to do everything and he honed in. Make sense? So I think you need to ask yourself, what do you need to focus on? What do you need to hone in on? Where have you been giving your focus away? And I kind of want you to get ticked off about it. I kind of want you to get ticked off that Facebook is making so much money on selling your focus and you're not getting the reward, right? I want you to get pissed off that the cable news channels are making a ton of money on your attention. I want your business to make that money. I want your life to make that money. Stop giving it away. Make sense? So here's the thing. These are kind of the affirmations or declarations or whatever we want to say based on our conversations today. And here's kind of the ones, right? I will choose to lead. I will choose my reality. I will magnify my focus and magnify my results. You didn't come this far to just come this far. And this is your best pandemic yet. Agreed? All right, so now what do we do with all that? How many of you have ever, I think I have a slide here. Maybe I don't. I thought I had it. Oh, nope, I don't. All right, yeah, nope, I don't. All right, so here's what I want you to think about. You've got all this stuff today, yes? All this info. How many of you have gone to something like this and gone, I'm on fire, I'm going to change my world, I got a list of 48 things to do, and then you do 0. Okay, so we have some stuff in common. All right, yeah, right. It's like you go to spend, it's amazing, you got all this stuff to do, and then you go and you do nothing. So I'm going to give you, I don't know who I got this from years ago. I freaking love this. My aha to success. Somebody else gave it to me. Aha to success. So get ready to write this down. Get ready to write this down. Are you ready? Can you get a yes? Ready. Woo! Okay. How do you take something from an aha to success? So the first step, this is the hard one. The first step is have an aha. We got that one? Okay, right. First up is have some sort of insight. Yell them out for me. What's at least one insight you got today from you that are here? What's one aha, one takeaway? What's that? Yeah. Okay, give me one more. What's that? Own your results. Yeah. Narrow your focus. Leverage. All right, so here's what happens. We have all these ahas, right? I need to narrow my focus. I need to work on my schedule, right? I need better leverage. I need to think about how, we have these ahas. And then the problem is we don't usually take action on them. Agreed? Or is that, right? Have you ever had that experience? Okay, awesome. So I'm not alone. All right, so let's, as Jeff would say, let's implement a process. Sound good? So step 1, have an aha. Nailed it. Step 2, maybe write this down. If you're watching this or you're here right here in person, step 2 is write down what behaviors do I need to change. So that's the first thing. What do I need to do different? What's the behavior I need to change? Maybe I need to I need to write a new schedule, or I need to read a book about schedule, whatever it is, right? So the first step, have an aha. Second step is actually write down what behaviors you're going to change. Okay. Now, some people get to step 2. Most people never get past step 1, correct? Okay, a couple more steps. Step 3, and I love this one. Step 3 is what tools are you going to use? I thought that was really interesting. What tool am I going to use? So a tool could be, I'm going to buy a planner. The tool could be, I'm going to text my coach right now so they know what to do. The tool could be, I'm going to start tracking this on a daily basis. The tool could be, I'm going to implement Chime or whatever it is, right? So you pick a tool, okay? Step 4 is this. Step 4 is critical. Step 4 is where we went to wimp out just a little bit. Step 4 is get accountability. By the way, I heard an awesome hack the other day. They said, we were talking about on a Tribe Call. He said, this is the weirdest goal-setting hack. Tell that one person that you know will rub it in your face if you don't hit it, what your goals are. I thought that was hilarious. Right? Like, we all have that one person, like, that if you don't do it, they're going to remind you for, like, the next 18 Christmases in a row. Right? So, anyway, I thought that was a funny goal hack. Go tell them. All right. So, step 1, have an aha. Step 2, identify what behaviors I'm going to change. Step 3, what tools are you going to use? Step 4, get some accountability on yourself. Get some leverage. And step 5, ask yourself, how are we going to measure this? How are we going to track this? Would you agree that everything that's improved in your life, you tracked on some level, right? Okay. Here's what I want you to think about. Our creed at Hero Nation has always been this, right? Our mission has been, we want to train 1 million people to empower 1 billion. Right? Our mission is to raise up, train, empower 1 million business leaders to be their own heroes, to see their own greatness, tap into their full potential, and create their own epic lives. Then to empower that 1 million to go out and empower 1 billion. I think we did some of that today, yes? Right. What I love about the people that are here and the people that are watching is I love that you are not cul-de-sacs. Right, a cul-de-sac, there's a whole lot of people that are cul-de-sacs. Cul-de-sac is right, they just kind of spin in that cul-de-sac and they don't ever give it to other people, right? I want to work with people that are multipliers. It means they get this stuff, they take it and they give it to somebody else, correct? Like to pay it forward, agreed? So here's what I'm going to do. Thinking about our mission, my request for you, if you're watching this or if you're here, is to take some of this and in the next 24 hours, share some of your ahas with somebody else. Keep this moving forward. Our vision is to raise up leaders who have decided that they can have both world-class, highly profitable businesses while also living fully lived life with the ones they love. Sound like a win? In our creed, right? I will become my own hero because my soul demands it, my family deserves it, and the world is starved for it. I think as we begin to wrap this up, I think you need to make sure you answer the question in the next couple days. What does radical, unapologetic success look like for you? Really, what does it really look like for you? What would it look like if you came back in here a year from now, hopefully together, and you could really look yourself in the mirror and go, like, I lived a radically unapologetic, successful year that I'm really, really proud of? I think you need to ask yourself, what would it take? What would need to happen for me to be able to say that? It's so interesting when we ask people, what's it going to take for this to be the best year of your life? And most people at the end of the day, what the answers they begin to give is, unconsciously, they say it would have to be a year where I didn't have a whole lot of problems, right? Maybe it was a year where I didn't have any health problems, or a year where I didn't have any financial problems. All my relationships were good, right? If all that happened, maybe this would be the best year of my life. You are screwed if that's your plan, right? How many years have you had like that where everything was perfect all year? You're going to have some stuff, yes? So it's not about having a problem-free year, correct? It's about having a year where you tackled the problems that you chose to tackle, right? It's about having a year where you leaned in, and maybe everything wasn't your fault, but you're proud of how you responded, agreed? And I want you to write down this question. What if? What if? I love that Kelly asked this question a couple years ago. What if I could figure out how to never work a Friday again? What if I could hire amazing people like Brian did, right? And begin to build something I never even dreamed of before? What if I figured out how to get my health under control? What if I figured out how to love myself and I didn't need anyone else's? What if I could create that in myself? What if this could be not the easiest year, but the year that I was the most proud of myself? Right? What if? What if this year I could look in the mirror and honestly say, best dad ever? Nailed it. Huh? What if? What if this was the year where you figured out how to leverage better? What if this was the year where you leaned in? What if this was the year where you really thought, what's radical, unapologetic success look like? And what if I could do that? And after you ask, what if, you have to follow it up with, then why not? What if I could? Why wouldn't I? If you can fail at what you hate, why don't we pursue the heck out of what we love? This year, remember, crisis is a terrible thing to waste, my friends. This is our best pandemic yet, and we have made the decision to be our own hero, right? I'll tell you what, right now, when I look at that creed, when we wrote that a couple years ago, man, I never knew how true that would ring a couple years later. We talk about the world is starved for it, right? My soul deserves that I lean in and I be the best I can be. My family deserves it, and the world is starved for people like us that stand up and show a path, right? One of the reasons why I was talking to Angie Cole the other day in North Carolina, and I said, "Dear God, please start telling your story." She said, "What do you mean?" I was like, you're doing it the right way. Meaning every weekend she quits. She doesn't work on Friday. She goes to the beach with her family. She's going to do several hundred transactions this year and have an amazing life. And I said, how many other people are in the top 5 and doing what you're doing? She's like, she started to walk. She goes, man, this couple, they work 24/7. This couple hates their life. These people work right every hour of the day, whatever. And I go, please, dear God, start telling your story so people know that it's possible. We need people that do this and then start telling the world that it's possible. You can have both. You don't have to pick one. Is it easy? No. But you don't have to pick either one, right? You can have both, yes? You can get whatever that collapsible ball is called and figure it out. I'm never learning Gyro's fire fear. Okay, it's just not happening. It's a ball that gets bigger and smaller. Okay. All right. Well, to those of you that are watching, we love you. Thank you for being here. Please go to theheronation.com. Join us on this journey. Become part of this community. Tell you what, most people fail because they're trying to do it alone. Right? Most people fail because they're not getting advice from people that have been down the road a little further than them. Make the decision to join us, become part of our community, lean in, and I'll tell you what, it'll be one of the best decisions you've ever made. All right, be your own hero, my friend. We'll see you down the road.